Welcome to Wrestling with Bros podcast with your hosts, Big Baby Ben and his brother, Judas Black. We are waiting on the arrival of the third host. He is Troy Black, and he will be joining us very shortly here on the best wrestling podcast for independent professional wrestling, Wrestling with Bros.
That was awesome.
That's awesome. And tonight we got a special guest. As you see, the announcer, Trae Parker from HAW. Why don't you tell us a little about yourself, brother?
Hey, boys, how you doing? Hey, my name's Trey. Just a wrestling fan out here in the Midwest, trying to get a little bit of the business and be a part of it. And more than just be a fan, just join something that I believe in and try to, use my voice to just reach out to people and see if I can pull on their heartstrings a little bit, make them feel something about wrestling,
Yeah, for sure, man. We've been following HAW for a bit and everything, and it's been really exciting so far. I mean, some of the matches we've seen, the chances to be able to do a live event so far, we've done a couple of them. Just as you for specifically, how long have you been with HAW, and how did the opportunity really come about for you?
Well, I joined HAW around their second show, so April this past year. I joined them on a whim. I saw them out. I saw that they were promoting a show, their first show, Rise from the Ashes. I didn't hear too much more about it. I watched it on Instagram and stuff, tried to follow it. I had another engagement that night, so I was busy. And I saw the show, and I saw that on my buddy's Instagram that night that Travis Titan made his debut. Travis and I are friends, so I saw that, and I was like, this seems like something I should kind of look into. So I reached out to Danny, and Danny's a great guy. So he just kind of was like, hey, send me like a video or something. Let me know what you can do. I just reached out with an email saying, hey, I'd like to be a part of your company. If you need anything, collecting doors, dropping off posters, whatever I could do, let me know. So he hit me up and asked if I'd send in him a video. Send him in a video. He said, you want to do like a GM role? So we kind of played around with that for a minute. And we needed a ring announcer for the first show. So I just said, hey, I could do that. So, I studied up, practiced up. I've been talking to myself in the car, cutting promos for years, in the mirror, announcing. So, yeah, I just kind of took a bet on myself and said, if there's anyone to reach out to, it's probably this Danny guy, and we'll go from there.
For sure.
So,
yeah, it sounds like you got a hold of the right connections and got yourself in there. It's awesome. And yeah, I mean, you do a great job at the shows, man. It's no doubt about it. So, and
thank you. I appreciate that.
One thing we will say, and I mean, before we really get going here, is we really appreciate that shout out you gave us at the show.
Oh, thanks.
That really has hyped up a lot. People are noticing us. We've had fans actually come up to us at the last show, and they started talking to us and asking us about the show, and they're like, we really appreciate you giving AMB the time on screen to be able to kind of promote himself. And he really seems to like you guys, and we've been watching a few of your episodes, and we really like it as well. So yeah, that shout out really did help.
Yeah, of course, man. I met you probably the show beforehand, Billy, and we just kind of got to talking.
Yep.
And you said you had a podcast. I didn't hear about your podcast, but I spend a lot of the time of my day putting in either if it's not, football related or work related, it's most likely I'm filling my head full of wrestling. So I listen to lots of wrestling podcasts. So when I heard that you had one, I started following it a little bit, and it seems like, you guys started picking up more steam, getting confidence in yourselves after, you get a little notoriety, a little shout out. We're all trying to help each other.
Yeah,
all trying to help each
we
other.
started out playing around on Spotify. We were just doing audio podcasts, and we actually met another podcaster. He's from a podcast called Last Week in Wrestling. He's out of Brooklyn, New York, and he told us, like, guys, you guys are doing really well and everything. He said, but you guys need to stream live. Like, you need to bring yourself in front of the camera, because that's going to help people really notice you. And as soon as we did that, like, the views and stuff just really started picking up, because now instead of just listening to us locally, people can look at us. They can see what's going on and see the excitement and not just hear it from us. So,
yeah.
Big Baby, you got a question for him?
I do have a question for him. Was there a commentator or a ring announcer that inspired you to do what you do today?
Oh no, there's tons of them. Justin Roberts is one of them, of course. To get more modern day, like I listened to his podcast a few times with Chris Jericho, The Anatomy of a Ring Announcer, just kind of like really like get tidbits from it. But growing up, like I was a huge fan commentary wise. Let's just start there. Bobby the Brain Heenan. My dad was a huge fan of Bobby the Brain. So Bobby the Brain, Mean Gene Okerlund. I think that Jim Ross is an American legend. I think that he should truly be like one of those like top announcers in the Hall of Fame for like radio broadcasting. Like he is the voice of wrestling, and he is one of the absolute best. He could tell a story like nobody else. Great writer, great storyteller. As a kid growing up in the Attitude Era, loved little comments from the King. Get a little older, and you realize they're not that funny. So, but I would say announcer wise, Howard Finkel, and lately I've really, really, really been enjoying, like everyone else, is Samantha Irving, of course.
Oh, she's amazing.
Absolutely amazing. Everyone that got to AEW is great too. Like, but I would say the ones that kind of inspired me would be like, your Howard Finkel's and your Jim Ross, like commentary wise, stuff like that. Just people that were bigger than life. Mean Gene Okerlund, huge. Like,
huge.
I could watch Mean Gene Okerlund and Macho Man Randy Savage clips for hours and not get sick of it. Over and over.
For sure. If you had to say, so I heard you were saying that you grew up in the Attitude Era. Going back to the Attitude Era, what would you say your favorite match during the Attitude Era would have been?
Oh, hell. There's so many good ones. So I was a WCW guy, right? To start off, like I loved the WCW. NWO I thought was cool. But I was a big fan of like the Luchadors. I was a huge fan of Chris Jericho in the WCW days. So like match wise, I'll start there. WCW, one of my favorite matches from the Attitude Era from that end is going to be, the Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio, Halloween Havoc.
Oh yeah.
There's also a match with it's Dean Malenko and Chris Jericho, where he wears the belt like half the time. That match is fantastic. And then on the WWF side, because I was one of those kids, I'd switch back and forth, commercial, right? Wrestle with my brother upstairs. I have a brother, we're 11 months apart. So like we would be like upstairs breaking the bed,
I got a brother I'm 10 months apart from. Same thing.
Yeah. So I figure you guys do the same thing we did, growing up.
Yeah.
So it would be the Hell in a Cell, of course, with Mankind. And, that match is just amazing. It's something that's always going to live in my head. Yep. First time I saw it, I was like, but
mind
then
blown.
Again, like, I also caught up on a lot of these pay-per-view matches that I missed a little later. I was in about 8th grade, so about 2000. I say 2000. I kind of got exiled to my grandparents' house in a small town outside of like Amarillo, Texas.
Okay.
And they had a movie store there, and I would go there and I would just get every wrestling DVD I could, VHS, and I'd sit at my grandparents' house and watch it. So like I caught up a lot of like TLC. I didn't see that live. I saw that in the afterwards, you know.
Yeah.
So those matches stick out to me. The matches I kind of watched in that summer of exile.
Yeah, I had a summer like that too. When I was being bad and not listening to my parents.
We'll leave it there.
My grandparents, I was raised by my grandparents, and they sent me to my my aunt's house, my great aunt, and she had nothing, like a box TV.
Yeah.
And she lived out in the middle of the country, so it was just like, this is it. This is your chance to behave. Otherwise, you can just stay here.
Yeah, exactly.
So for sure.
But yeah, caught up on a lot of wrestling there. So and was able to watch like stuff that I'd never seen before. Like they being in the Amarillo area, like there was like this just dirty stack of DVD or VHS off in the corner of this like video store, and it was all this old Terry Funk, Dory Funk, it was all that old stuff from like the 70s and stuff. So I kind of like watched that and kind of was like, oh, there's a whole nother aspect to it.
Yeah, definitely. Most certainly. I mean, being able to find anything wrestling related, I've got some Seth Rollins collection action figures that have all been autographed. I've got, my titles. I found a John Cena action figure at Target, and it was $20. And I was like, yeah, I got to have this because they had it on the spinner belt and everything else on it. And I was like, got to have this. I got to make it part of my collection. So
yeah, of course.
I completely understand you from there. Ever since you've been a part of HAW, what would you say was your favorite match to call?
So I don't really call the matches on the commentary side. It's something I'd like to dabble with later on. We have a good commentator, great commentator in TH3, along with Sabotage did some commentating on the last matches around, and those are
well, I guess I should
Logan.
Maybe reword it. What was your favorite match to be the announcer for?
Oh yes, of course. I was going to get to that eventually, but talking those guys up a little bit first.
No, you're good.
But Sean does a fantastic job, and these matches coming out on our YouTube channel, they're going to be fantastic to watch.
Okay.
To see him and T kind of interact with each other. So look out for those on Honor Among Wrestling YouTube channel. Cheap plug.
For sure.
Moving on, I really like, I grew up in Colorado, but living out here, I moved out here about 7 years ago, and then I started getting into like, watching the local wrestling here and there. So I would go out and I would see, as of late, just to get to your answer, I'm sorry, I'm long-winded anscer here.
You're good. You're good, man.
You're good. Free to talk, brother.
So I saw Maggie Lee's first match, and when I got to work with her now, working with her, it was really exciting to be like, oh, look, like I think you're like the brightest rising star in independent wrestling. Like you've been in it very, very short time, but you're making towns, you're doing your work, So I'd like to give you something. So like the very first show, I had this thing in mind, like the fastest brightest rising star, Maggie Lee. And it just kind of gained traction. So I really enjoy doing stuff like that. Introducing her would be fun. This last introduction I did of Theseus, I think was probably the best one I've done since. Like he's one of those guys that he has this gimmick and this entrance, and it's got this 30-minute or this 30-second like intro before you even see him. Yeah. So you either fill that space or you just leave it dead so the music plays. So this last time around, I filled it right to the cue, and I think it kind of built him up a little bit. So I'd say moments like that where you could talk to them and get their input. I also like spontaneous moments like, Missa Kate came out for us out in Cedar Rapids. First time I saw her, she's like, it's Missa, not Misa. She's like, I've never seen that Star Wars movie. She's like, I heard it's not good. I was like, it's not. Don't waste your time. so we had a good conversation, and she is brilliant. Like Missa Kate, brilliant. Anytime you're on a show with her, she's really intelligent. She knows what she's watching. She's able to talk to you about it, tell you what you did right, what you did wrong. Very helpful. Like that's what I'll say about everyone that I've met in the wrestling industry. Now that I'm on this side of the guardrail, so to speak, is it's a community. Like every time we see each other, it's fantastic. So helping their characters and them helping me, like, so when she got out there, and she was an impromptu time, so she got out there and she looked at me, and like I was gonna say Missa, I wasn't gonna say Misa. I knew I wasn't, because I was like, I'm not gonna screw that one up. So I was like, all right, Missa Kate. And then she's like, say it, what is it? So that was fun, little interaction there. The last time Sierra was with us, I missaid her name in the intro before we went live. You know, I talked to the crowd before we go live, missaid her name. So she made it quite clear during the match that I said it right. So, you know, and little interactions like that, man, that would be like the things that I'm taking away from it. But like to say favorite, I don't really have one just yet. Like the matches that follow my entrances are all fantastic. They're all really good. So it's just hard to kind of be like, what was my favorite? But like building and working and like building my craft since I just started, and then hearing the feedback from them would be like what I love best about it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I know. I'd have to say, you know, with the live stuff that I've been, you know, recording and stuff, if I had to call out a match that really caught my eye, I mean, all the matches catch my eye. They're all good. But one that really got me was this last one was between Conan Lycan and AMB. That was like the ultimate underdog versus the ultimate Goliath, you know?
Yeah, that match was fantastic. And for it to happen on a free pop-up show like that, that's something that, you know, kids in the audience, people in the audience, they're not going to forget that.
Oh, no, and it caught me off guard. When he rolled Conan Lycan up, I was like, oh, he's going to kick out. And he didn't kick out, and I'm like, oh, my God, I did not even see that coming.
Yeah.
It was
applying a little bit of top pressure, and he got him. He got him for the 3 count there.
Yeah,
it was
an
brilliant.
exciting match to be able to record, and just calling the moves as they were doing them during the live video, and I'm just like running around the ring like this, trying to get the best angles and stuff.
Yeah, spontaneous moments of HAW, like that's what we're here for. Like, we'll enter someone into that match that day, you know, and they have every right. They have every right to win, just like everyone else, you know. Our current Reyes champion, she got entered the last minute, and she got lucky and ended up winning that belt. So
for sure, well, I mean that's luck. Then I'm glad she did. She probably wasn't
skill as well. She's super skilled. She knew exactly how to get that pin.
Mm-hmm. So okay, big baby.
I actually want to catch up on the comments from the fans. Trae has a couple questions from Wrestling Bish 29. What is your all-time favorite moment with being a ring announcer so far?
All-time favorite moment so far would be probably the third show. We were out in Cedar Rapids, and I just started feeling it. Like the first 2 shows, I feel like I was imitating a ring announcer, or I was playing a role that I didn't feel so comfortable with. But like after I started like spending my time like doing the notes, doing the work, and kind of building myself, I'd say that third show I really felt like it was rolling. So I'd say like the best moment was just that moment after that show, and you get that feedback from, you know, the ring film dude and other wrestlers like Mateo, and they're like, hey, you're really figuring this out now. Like you're getting it. So that would be it right now. Since it's so new, I don't have like that moment, but I have like little moments.
Okay. And what would you say some skill sets or characteristics it takes to be a ring announcer?
Oh, you got to be comfortable speaking in front of people, and charismatic. A nice voice would help. I hate the sound of my own voice like out. I feel like on a phone, if I hear it back, it drives me nuts. or if I hear like a voicemail back, it drives me nuts. But like, I knew for like my entire life I was loud. Like I was always a loud kid. So, my buddy Johnny was actually a wrestler out in. He is a wrestler out in Denver in the Rocky Mountain Pro region, and he does a great job. He's part of a tag team called JK Pop, and they're really up and coming, great tag team out here in the independents. But he won a title. It was like a few years back, like right after he started wrestling. He won a title for that promotion. I called him and left him a message. I was like, "And your new charge champion," and he's like, "Hey, you should do that." He's like, "I know you're by Black and Brave." He's like, "Whatever you got to do." He's like, "You should do that." So that kind of helped me out. That was years ago though. So, I just kind of stuck with that in the back of my head. Like if there was opportunity, I could use my voice. So that's pretty much what I would say. You have to be charismatic. You also have to know what to say. Like for the first few shows, I said like fantastic like 1,700 times before I said anything else. I felt like I just repeated the same word. So, it's trial and error, man. Like I take a lot of notes. I prepare a lot. Like right now, I'm preparing for our next upcoming show, and I got notes and notes of stuff that I want to say that, you got to remember your sponsors. You got to remember the people that help you out and push the wrestlers too. I'm always telling people, go buy a t-shirt, go buy some toys, buy a pin from Mateo, like support him, get an autograph, take a picture.
Yep.
So
yeah,
I'd say that.
I went to an autograph signing over at the mall when they were over there at Disc Replay, the two main champions, Maggie Lee and Conan Lycan, and I made sure I got me a couple autographs. That's for sure. Ben, he has one for Conan Lycan. He couldn't make the signing, but they were able to get me one for him as well. So yeah, it was a pretty good experience. I mean, that's the only one I've seen so far. Do they plan to have any of those down the road?
More like after the show, After the show, you come up, get all the autographs you want from everybody in the thing. As if signing wise goes, we did do one in Cedar Rapids for Zaya Brookside when she was here. When she came up there, we had like a signing for her. She had a booth and everything, so she hit that up. There's no more planned. We do have a couple things down the pipeline planned. Like we have another pop-up show at Nerd Speak coming up in December. And we have a Toys for Tots happening then too. So if you bring in a toy, it doesn't matter what the value of the toy is. Bring it in, put it in the box, and we'll get you free admission that day. And that's December 9th. Okay. So that's for Brewery Brawl. And that is at Nerd Speak Brewing in the indoor hangar. So it should be a good time.
I was going to say, is that one going to be indoors? Because it's going to be a little cold around that time.
That one will be indoors, yes. That one will be indoors. And there will be a heater, but hey,
there he is. Good with you, brother.
What's up? How you doing, my man?
I'm doing good. Sorry for the late intro, y'all. Sorry for the late intro. I had some business to attend to real quick, but I'm here.
Yes,
I am finally.
That's
here.
All good, man. Yeah.
So, catch me up to speed. Where we at?
Just kind of asked him about his experience as an announcer. Asked about some potential signings coming up, things like that, with the autographs. Mm-hmm. He mainly talked about his favorite announcers.
Okay.
And favorite matches that he's been a part of, just being an announcer for him. So
okay. All right. So, as an announcer, have you ever taken interest in like stepping foot in the ring?
Sorry, let me get you guys back here. Yes, of course.
What's you from doing it?
Right now, nothing. I have thoughts of training and getting into the ring. I'm 37 years old, so that's number one. I feel like.
Oh, come on! I'm 35.
I know. I can do it. That's why I'm talking to people now that I've been in the industry a little bit, man. Like I feel a lot sorry, Danny's texting me on top of you guys, so
You're
I'll
good.
check that out here in a minute. I might get off the air for a second here, but to answer your question, like I got completely sidetracked. Danny said something up there, and I was like, I got completely sidetracked. So we'll get back to what was that question?
I said, why haven't you stepped in the ring yet?
Yes. Right now, I'm just going to try to find. We're going to try to find somewhere to set up our ring permanently, so we can start that training process there with just whoever can kind of help me out. Danny will train me a little bit, but like, yeah, there is future thoughts of me getting in the ring. So,
Okay.
you know, it's just going to take some time. I got to get back in a little bit of shape, get back in there and learn the moves, be able to do it safely. And then, you know, you might see me down the line.
Well, and I know that the last show we're at, we helped set up the ring and everything. We talked to Danny, and he said that they were looking into a permanent location and stuff. I mean, how close are they to doing something like that?
You know, we have a really nice thing coming up next year where we've got our pretty much year planned at the Bettendorf Community Center. So we're going to stay there for a little bit, you know. We're always looking for places, man. You know, it just has to be the right place, the right price, and kind of the right atmosphere. So I'd say I'm not going to put any timelines on anything. So, but one day, someday, Danny's got big thoughts, you know. So we should have a little bit of a place somewhere we call home.
Hey, when an owner of a small promotion or a big promotion or whatever stops having big thoughts, then you know there's a problem. So
yes, no, we're in good hands.
Got to keep it rolling. Yeah.
So we have another fan question, if you don't mind, Trae.
No, let's go for it.
Have you always been able to talk in front of people and to people easily, or was it something you kind of had to overcome to get to?
So 2 people easily, especially like when I was younger. Like my parents tell the story all the time where they couldn't find me for like hours, but I was at this like swap meet at the elementary school just talking to old people. So like I've always had this thing of like talking, like I could talk to people, hold their attention. And then I worked in the culinary field for a while, and I worked in sales. So talking to people was easy. Getting in front of people on a microphone, completely different. That first show, I shit the bed, dude. I was so nervous. Tommy stepped in there, kind of like gave me a minute to breathe, and I put myself together. But those first 2 shows, man, they were rough. Like watching the video back is like rough. Like it's real hard. But this past show, I felt like I was feeling it. The past 3 shows, I really felt like I'm falling into it. So that's, yeah.
So
the talking to people thing, man. Like I always say that, like it's really easy to give someone a compliment when you see them, even if you don't know them. People love that, and that's an easy way to start talking to people.
Okay.
Another reason that kind of got me to talking to people, you know, I worked in the grocery field for a while, and you know, the company I worked for, we did 2 days of training of customer service. So like you find things that like make people happy and like make people want to like talk to you. Like if you talk to like next time you guys see a lady and you're helping her out, say miss rather than ma'am. See what happens. I'm sure they'll be like, oh my God, thank you for calling me miss. Like it's the little things, dude.
Okay.
So that's what I'd say about
women
talking.
hate to be called ma'am. They don't like it.
No, you say miss and they love it.
Yep.
So is there any type of like, I don't know, regular routine preparations that you do before you go out there for announcements? Is it like you have to go over certain notes, or do you like go to the bar, maybe get a drink to take the edge off? Like, do you talk to yourself in the mirror a few times? You know, what do you
Yeah, there's always a bush light in my preparation.
Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a little, not too much, like one little while I'm preparing, you know. I do a lot of preparation at home, a lot of notes, like I showed him earlier, you know. I got this notebook. It's got notes in it. Like it's got pretty much first 7-10 minutes of what I'm going to say at the next show. It's got some stuff leading into our Toys for Tots drive in December at Nerd Speak Brewing on the 9th.
Yes.
It's got our sponsors in there. I also keep cards, like note cards. All these have like from all the shows. So they're all in case we have like returning people, I can just look up here, see what their entrance was, write it down. I've steered away from looking at my note cards in the ring or looking at anything in the ring. I feel like that's a great step. I do bring this in the beginning just to kind of glance at it, you know, to see if I'm making sure I'm hitting my bullet points. But other than that, you know, just trying to write it down. If I write it down and I read it back, I'm able to like say it.
Okay.
That's how my ADD works, man. So
I usually ask the wrestlers like their worst moments in the ring, and since you're an announcer, what was your worst and most
my worst
embarrassing moment being an announcer? Were you just kind of like, oh shit?
Besides the story, besides the time, well, when I called Sierra the wrong name, and I'm looking dead at her and her significant other. Like I'm standing in the ring looking at the hard cam. They're standing right behind the hard cam, and I butcher her name. It was the worst feeling because inside I'm like, I was completely wrong. I know better. And so then I had to make up with her. I went right to her. I was like, fuck. Before I even got there, she's like, hey. I was like, I know. I was like, I'm so sorry. So besides that one, it would be that first show, man. That first show was like me trying to just explain to people like who we are when I didn't even know who I was really difficult. Like I just kind of ran down the card and then I like got out of the ring and it was awful. Like it got to the point where Danny was like, are you going to be able to do this? I said, yeah, dude, I was like, let's get through tonight and let's keep going. So if he didn't have faith in me, I wouldn't be sitting in front of you guys right now. But
yeah, I feel it.
You know, that was probably the worst moment there. The Sierra thing, it was just, I knew that was wrong coming out of my mouth. And then looking right at him, too, making eye contact with both of them.
Okay.
So,
Big Baby?
I actually had the first surprise question of the night.
Oh, great. I didn't miss any of this.
Is John Cena good for wrestling?
Yeah, dude. He is. Yeah, you know, my indifference towards Cena, because I am one of these guys that I fell out of wrestling for a while. Like after I'd say I went to college, 2004, 2005. I remember having a big WrestleMania 21 party. And then the one where they go to Vegas. What was that one? No, that's 21. Anyways, and then I fell out for years. And then I got back into it. But like I realized that, yes, he is good for wrestling. I mean,
Hell yeah.
I didn't like him per se for a long period of time. And then I realized that he is good. Like I liked him and then I didn't like him. It's the weirdest thing with John Cena. Because I remember with John Cena and me, like I remember being sick one day and watching TLC, right? And seeing the documentary where he's the prototype, where he's talking about like, it's like, it wasn't the MTV, I want to be a professional wrestler, but it was something along those lines through TLC. And I remember seeing him like struggle. And then I see him like pop up and I'm like, this guy's cool. He's rapping, all that stuff. I was in high school at the time. He was cool. And then he got annoying and he just shoved down your throat. And then he went away, came back, and he was cool again. So, you know, he is good for business. He's on every commercial. I mean, people like that are good if they're doing the right commercials.
So we know that you're a ring announcer for HAW. But have you had any other promotion, like other promotions try to offer to let you be a ring announcer or any that
Not yet.
Any that you would like to be a part of?
Yes. I would like to be a part of any independent, like any of these towns these wrestlers are hitting, I'd like to hit too. I know that a lot of promotions have their own in-house, but you know, I would love to get into like managing, even maybe come across talent that, you know, we can do something together. I don't want to ever like book myself or try to get booked on something on someone else's name or credit or anything. But, you know, if we have chemistry together, we can figure something out. I'd love to manage somebody. I would love to work for other promotions. Yes, of course. Like JJ Garrett is doing a promotion coming out soon out in Ames. I would love to be part of one of those shows if he does a second show. That's on the 27th. Cheap plug for him. I'll plug his stuff. He's a good guy, good brother. So yeah, JJ Garrett's running hottest topic, you know, and that's going to be out of the Ames area, and he's got a stacked lineup for that. So you can check that out on Instagram and follow him.
Sure.
And you know, there's some other promotions, you know, like, you know, CS Chicago style wrestling would be fantastic to even like go up there and work with one of them. When I was out in Colorado, that just didn't work out. I visited Colorado a couple months ago to see my grandmother, and I hit my buddy up to try to get on one of their shows, just to kind of be in the backstage, just kind of watch their ring announcer. Because the last time I was out there last November, we went out there and saw in April. We went out there in April and we saw a great show at a brew pub. And their MC, ring announcer, had tons of energy, was full of life, and loved it. And that was like right when I was starting getting into wrestling. So like I kind of watched him. So like I'd like to do stuff with everybody. Like I figure like if I could get some more videos, more photos of myself out there, maybe someone will hear my voice and give me a shot. But yeah, in the future I'd love to do more. I would love, and I'm always going to be with HAW. So
For sure.
Do you have a favorite HAW wrestler?
Do
you have a favorite HAW wrestler?
Oh man, that's hard, dude.
I know
it's Mateo Valentine.
Mateo,
no, it's you know, Mateo's been nothing but just like a genuinely awesome human being, and he's always the first to say hi to me. He was always really like welcoming in the beginning. Gave me some great feedback in him, and you know, Jack, his tag team partner, gave me some really good feedback that first show. Told me stick with it. So I'll always remember those guys. I love watching Gunner. I think he's absolutely amazing, and he's going to put on a show this next show around. So that's going to be one to check out in our main event with Gunner. He's going to blow the roof off the place. So come check that out. It's going to be a fantastic show on the 28th of October. All you listeners and fans out there, check us out. Never surrender. It's right there.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
At the Martin Luther King Center in Rock Island, Illinois.
And what, the show starts at what, 6?
Show doors start at 6. Show starts at about 6:50, 7 o'clock.
Okay.
We're gonna have a costume contest for the kids, and we're gonna have a lot of great stuff going on there. So come, be dressed up, be ready to meet and greet some favorite wrestlers, and watch an insane night of wrestling with stipulations all over the place.
Oh yeah,
nice.
I can't wait to see that.
That's gonna be good.
I shall be there.
Yes.
So we've talked a lot about the male division, and we're going to kind of go into the women's division now. Who would you say out of the women's division in AEW, or not AEW, HAW, I apologize, is your favorite?
Oh,
So Maggie Lee, of course.
Thank you. I was just saying, I vote Maggie. I vote Maggie. I'm a Maggie fan.
I think she's a fantastic athlete. That's why I gave her the moniker of the brightest rising star in all of women's professional wrestling. You know, like, and she enjoys that. So like, I think she's one of my favorites. I've always been a fan of Heather since the first time I saw her in the Quad Cities.
Mm-hmm.
And now that she's with us and just out doing her own thing, and she's been all over the place, so she's easy fan favorite. Really, really like Reagan Laydell lately. she is just absolutely phenomenal to watch. You know, she's got a different look to her. You know, the boss Haas hippie, as she likes to be called. So, you know, those would be my favorites so far. And like I said earlier, Missa Kate and Sierra, those were great talents to have. Zaya Brookside was an absolute amazing person. Like, we went out and she was sitting there and we were just talking a little bit just about like her travels to the United States. You know, she just got there about 9 weeks prior. So, you know, conversations like that are great to have with these wrestlers. And like, those would be like the top female stars that I've really got with. And of course, our champion as well.
Of course.
She is amazing up and coming athlete. So
I'd have to say one of my favorites is the Hale sisters, because they kind of remind me of a young and up and coming Bella twins kind of thing.
Yeah, they have a different attitude to them than the Bellas did. They're more like, you know, seems like those girls just picked on everybody in high school. Like, it doesn't seem who you are. You know, that's what the Hale twins remind me of. Like, I grew up with some twin sisters, and I saw them fight this girl one time, and that girl had no chance. So, you know, it was rough. It was one of those high school things. But, you know, yeah, the Hale sisters, they're great too. Like, they know exactly what to say. They're confident in themselves, and that's all that matters.
Hell yeah.
So when you tune into professional wrestling, what do you watch? TNA, AEW, WWE?
So I try to watch everything, man. I always try to find time in the week to watch something like old and obscure. Lately I've been diving back into this old DVD I had. I thought I had it close, but it's like Wrestling Classics, and it just has this, like, I got it at like a grocery store years ago, but it's got this like bizarre mix of wrestling on it, dating all the way back to like the 50s and 60s. So like, I like to watch some of that stuff, even like the silent stuff where you can't really hear the fans or anything.
Yeah.
And just watch like Gorgeous George come out and just see the people. I love watching stuff like that. I'm starting to get into the world of sport. I haven't dabbled too much to talk about it educationally. So in a few months, while having me back, we'll talk about that. Some old world sport, but like, I really watch week to week is AEW, and then I fill myself in on the storylines that I like from WWE, which is anything Cody Rhodes is involved in, as well as, you know, the Bloodline. I try to keep up with that just because it's a great story. But that's probably what I'm watching. AEW mostly, but I try to put in a little bit of everything throughout the week. A lot of independent stuff too. I have
to ask. My brothers hate I asked this question. I have to, because you kind of brought it up anyway.
Don't do this shit.
What's your thoughts on the tribal chief Roman Reigns?
Rachel Reigns.
So right now he's hitting that kind of, like, I think they need to figure out what to do with him, but like, he's off long enough that he's become like a Brock Lesnar. So like, I don't really care. Like, I think that he is the right person for right now. I don't understand why they didn't pull the trigger with Cody. Maybe they needed a little bit more adversity, which I get. But right now, I'm indifferent.
Okay.
I'm indifferent to it. When The Rock popped up on a random Denver show a couple weeks ago, after drinking Terramana with Pat McAfee all afternoon live that I watched, and I was like, well, this is going to be interesting. But then, you know, you haven't heard of him since. So, one-off, a teaser.
Yeah, now
We'll
the
see.
Hollywood strike is over, so
Yeah.
they're going to fall back into the shadows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's either ending up or it's going to be over. So, but we'll see what happens with that storyline. Right now, yeah, my thoughts on him is that I'm indifferent. I have more kind of investment in Jay and Jimmy than I do in fact, more in Jay than Jimmy right now.
So we have another fan question. What is your favorite moment in wrestling since you started watching it? And what is a moment in wrestling that always stuck with you and made you choose that as your favorite moment?
Oh,
That's a good question.
there's some moments that stuck with me that I wouldn't consider my favorite, but they're like blended in my head because of that obscurity that I told you about. Like the first death matches that I watched out of Japan were absolutely insane, and I wouldn't recommend watching them if you got a weak stomach. But the probably the best moment, would be since I started watching wrestling. There's so much wrestling. I've watched so much wrestling,
lot of
so it's so hard to like pinpoint it. But like the thing that pops in my head is like, yeah, that Hell in a Cell match with Mankind and the Undertaker. You know, him going off it, him going through it, Terry Funk coming in, like everything about it was just this like menagerie of just madness.
Yep.
And it's like it just was one thing after another, improvisation here and there. So that would be one of them. Another moment, like I remember because I heard about it. Like it's one of these like water cooler like kid moments. It was like 8th grade, and like one of my buddies got. He was like one of the Bucky O'Connell. He always got the pay-per-views, and I'd always go to his house and we'd watch them later after we would tape them. We'd watch them, but he watched the Owen Hart thing live. So like he was telling Brian, this other wrestling friend of ours, about it, and I just remember that as like one of those moments that we're like, whoa, this is insane. Like, what is this? What is this?
Yeah.
Like being faced with like mortality like in 8th grade, you know. So that was the two moments, you know. The ones that stuck with me and kind of made me want to do this as a profession would be moments like the backstage moments of Macho Man and Mean Gene. Just those interviews that they would do. Like they were just play off each other so well, and it would make me feel like, you know what, I could do something like this. I could use my voice in a way, you know. So that's how I'd answer that one.
Okay. Have you ever thought about being a referee?
Yeah, being a ref, things I've played around with. I talked to Woodsy about it a little bit. So you know, other things that you can look forward to. You know, just breaking into the industry like I have. You know, I never really knew where to start, who to go to. I felt like things in this area were like set the way that they wanted to be set, so there wasn't too much for outsiders. So I just kind of just kind of being in wrestling was something I always wanted to do, and a dream that I said that I had to do sooner or later. I set my mind to it that I was going to make it work this year somehow, and then that opportunity came up with Honor Among Wrestling, and it's been a roller coaster ever since, dude. It's like every month there's something new, something fun, another good show to prepare for. So I've really looked forward to it.
Hell yeah.
So it's one of the things basically you're saying, if you want an opportunity, you just kind of got to get in there and try to make that opportunity happen for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. You always got to make an opportunity. Like, you know, closed mouths don't get fed. You know, you gotta speak for yourself, and you gotta make shit happen.
So how many closed doors did you come across before you found one that was open?
I don't think I ever knocked at a door. You know, I had an opportunity to, and I kind of just pussyfooted around the conversation and never really did anything about it. Like I said, I just kind of looked at wrestling as like something to be a fan of, and then like it wasn't until I became an adult that I started realizing there's so many avenues to be in wrestling. Like you don't have to be a wrestler, you don't have to look a certain way, you know. I'm the same age as, you know, your John Moxley's, your Seth Rollins. Like we're all that same 37-year-old. So like if I would have done something earlier, who knows what would have happened. But like I'm in it now. I've chosen the path I have, and like I'm loving every second of it. So
awesome.
There's always a path for you.
I could definitely see you taking action in the ring. I could definitely see that. Definitely.
Yeah.
You look very comfortable every time you step foot in that ring.
Well, I really appreciate that, man.
For sure.
Really appreciate that.
Baby.
So, surprise question of the night number 2. What was your favorite rivalry and why?
You kind of got a little robot-y there. What was your favorite rivalry and why?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. Favorite rivalry. I love. Oh, I wrote this one down just in case I got asked this one, because I knew I was going to forget it on the spot. My favorite rivalry, I would say my favorite rivalry in the most modern time, except for it kind of had like it never got finished the way it should have, and I hope that they're able to right that wrong in the future. But I really, really got invested, and it was something that got me back into wrestling, was the rivalry between Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. That was one of like the best written stories and rivalries I think I've seen in a really long time. I really think that Flair and Funk had a fantastic rivalry back in the 70s or the 80s. And I also Dusty and Flair, fantastic rivalry. Like that's something that's like you watch to learn how to build a rivalry from. Are those 3 rivalries I'd say? Those are why. It invested in me. Like the emotional investment I had in DIY and then the breakup and everything was like so real. I was like, oh my God, this is like the best. And then they're both fantastic performers. So like every match delivered and it over delivered, and every turn, it was just insane watching that. And then going back to Dusty and Flair, like, you know, they both were good on the mic. They carried it in the ring, they carried it out of the ring, and it like never stopped. So those are the ones that I'd say are my favorite rivalries.
I think I would have said Undertaker and Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Undertaker and Shawn Michaels.
One of my favorite, a couple of my favorite would be John Cena and Randy Orton. John Cena.
That one is great too.
Yep. Good one.
Yep.
Definitely
Oh yeah,
that one. So that one was like during like that blind spot for me. So I had to go back and revisit that because like I kind of, you know, when I got out of college, you know, I started grinding on cooking, and then I like moved up to the mountains, and when I was living in the mountains, like then I started getting into, that's around 2011. So I got back into wrestling by watching the Wyatts and the Shield.
Yeah.
So that's what got me back. So I'd have to put that in the rivalry as well.
Yeah. The Wyatt family was definitely an amazing faction along with the Shield. I mean, I really enjoyed watching them when they were on TV for sure.
One of my favorites was Daniel Bryan versus the Authority and CM Punk versus the McMahons.
There you go.
Yes. Those are both great ones, you know. Like I love the Authority angle. I remember watching that WrestleMania with my buddy on the network and just getting so stoked for Daniel Bryan and just being like kids again. It was awesome. I remember that moment really well.
For sure.
The Yes movement was a crazy time in wrestling.
Yes.
Oh yeah. It was started piquing people's interest again. And then like, you know, like right now, like the rivalries that like I think Swerve and Hangman have a good thing going right now on AEW. I think that the Eddie Kingston and John Moxley rivalry that they did for a while was really good. I think that they put together a lot of really good TV, a lot of good stories in the past 4 years there. And you know, I love the Cody and Brody story. I think that's one of the best like new stories that like reminded me of watching those old like matches, like old Roddy Piper and Hammer Valentine. Like, you know, I watched that dog collar match and I watched this one, the one with Brody and Cody, and like they're both fantastic. So like I love that rivalry. I love the things that Cody was able to do in AEW and just do his old school style of wrestling. I know it turned some people off, but like I liked it. I liked old school Cody versus wrestling. Let's do that.
So talking about AEW, How do you feel about this current heel run of Christian Cage?
Oh, I love it. I love it. So like I've gotten into wrestling, like what got me like really, really like into wrestling as like every day is like podcasts. I listen to like Wrestle Talk is where I get my news from in the mornings. Fightful is a good source to get your news from. These are
Uh-oh. Did we lose him?
what I would say that like listen to all these podcasts over the years. Like I've listened to every wrestling podcast I get my hands on, and I was a big fan of the E&C podcast, Edge and Christian podcast for a while.
Mm-hmm.
It was so good. I think I was one of like 5 people to listen to it, and then that's why it's not around anymore. But it was good, and he was such a dick on that thing, and like he's just a real dick, and like I have been called a dick as of lately. In real life, but I'm not. I'm a great guy. Anyways, but he just says things. I think he's doing a fantastic job. I think it's great. I think it's really great that more people get to see like what I like heard on that podcast, because there were some really great parts, really funny stuff that him and Edge did on that podcast that you're like, wow, you are a dick.
So what's your opinion on? So we know Edge is now in AEW. What's your opinion on this situation where Edge tried to get the band back together and Christian told him to go fuck yourself?
I thought it was great. I thought it was absolutely great. Like I wouldn't expect anything else. Like you can't like. It would make no sense if he just said, "Okay." Like it make no sense. There's no other way out of that for him besides, go fuck yourself. Like what is he gonna say? He doesn't have friends. Remember?
So did you watch his match with Luchasaurus?
I did. I watched that. I tried to watch everything from last night. I have not finished NXT. I did finish NXT. I watched the end of it, but I haven't watched the middle segment. NXT is something I'm trying to get right back into. When it was the first yellow and black and gold, I was into it deep. Like that's what really got me like, okay, I have to get on the internet and start following these people that do wrestling news. I want to know more. It was because of NXT. And then it was because being in the Elite and then AEW, but like I was a big fan of that. So I just feel like there again, my mind trap transferred off to where it was going.
I think one of my favorite times with NXT was when they first brought it about. It was the pros versus the rookies kind of thing, where I liked that when they kind of did that thing, but that kind of went away very quickly.
That did go away very quickly. I liked it for like 5 minutes, and then I saw it, and I was like, "Oh, this is awful." It was right around that college time where I was like, "Am I watching it? Am I not?" So, but
I mean, we would never have gotten the Nexus if we hadn't had something like that.
No, never. And that's what kind of like really turned things around. Made a lot of stars. So I think they did a good job doing it that way. I think what NXT became after FCW was probably the best thing that it can. Its current state is really, really good. So I hope that it just continues to be really good. Like it's producing really good stars from what I've seen of like the newest version. I have like the multicolor 2.0. I didn't care for. But to answer your question, I did watch that Luchasaurus match. I thought it was good. I thought that, it gave you everything you needed. Like, yes, he's not going to come in against someone 10 years younger than him and just squash him right away, even though it's Luchasaurus. And you may say what you want about him. I think Luchasaurus is great. I think
he's an amazing big man.
He's a really good big man. He's very talented. He knows his spots. He knows what he's good at. He knows what he's not good at, and he does it. And like right now, he's giving great facials to Christian. He's really like reconsidering things. Like, and I think that's fantastic. I think he's doing a fantastic job.
For sure.
So,
And as a ring announcer, do you recommend studying Pat McAfee at all?
I listen to Pat McAfee every day.
Okay.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, I big fan of Pat McAfee. He wasn't someone that was on my radar. I'm a Broncos fan. So like he would be on the Colts. You know, I didn't really care. So it wasn't until like I saw him interacting with WWE and I was like, who's this blonde guy wearing shorts? Pretty cool guy. And then I started like following his show and everything, and it's just, yeah. Pat McAfee's awesome.
I've never followed him. I should probably check him out.
Check him
Pat
out.
McAfee's amazing.
He's good, man. He does a really good job. He gives back a lot. He is, yeah, one of my favorite people right now.
That multi-million-dollar deal with ESPN was no joke.
No.
No.
And it's good. He still is him same self. I don't know how it's taken on ESPN, but like I still enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, Pat McAfee's someone to watch. Just personality wise, you know, he's easygoing guy. He's a normal guy. He'll tell you like he lives a stupid life. I feel the same way. Like me being in the ring and like you just tell me like, yeah, you seem really comfortable in there. That's something I never thought I would be, you know. And then you just take a bet on yourself and you do it. So he would be one of those inspirations that helped me get to that point of, you know, reaching out. I would have to credit Milas to Pat McAfee. And right around that time, I reached out to Danny. He was talking to, it was when he was doing his push for his dream, kind of showing him his WrestleMania dream.
Yep.
You know, it's a Foxy flick on his show. So, like, that stuff inspires you. And just what he does, you know. Yep. Every day, be a friend, tell a friend something nice. I tell my daughter that every morning when she goes to school. So
there you go.
It's something that, yeah.
Hey, there's that bush.
Yes, sir.
So Michael Cole being called the greatest of all time on the announcer table nowadays. Do you agree with that statement?
I think Michael Cole is great. I think that he's really like, you know, that's someone too. Like, you're talking about a guy that got sodomized pretty much on TV at one point, if you remember that Heidenreich sketch, you know?
Yeah.
But he's a legit journalist. He was a war journalist in the Cold War, or not Cold Wars, I'm sorry, in the first in the Desert War, sorry. He was he was a journalist, and he really worked as like the WWE guy. I think being called the greatest, I don't like that. I think that the greatest is Jim Ross, and he would say that it's Gordon Sully, but I believe that it is Jim Ross, and I would stand by that. Like, there are like ring announcers and like commentators. Like, I'm a Denver Broncos fan. I still listen to Dave Logan every Sunday on SiriusXM. It's the only reason I have the app, just because I think he's a fantastic commentator, and I'd rather listen to him during the Broncos disaster than anyone else, because at least he knows, because he knows the team. So the Michael Cole thing, I think he's fantastic. I think he does a really good job now. I think that him being the face of both, him being on both commentary tables now is something that, yes, you need as this TKO merger takes off.
Yep.
But the greatest of all time moniker, in my opinion, I don't think so. I think that he is definitely up there. I would say, you know, longevity wise, definitely. You can even put him right under Jim Ross. But like, I think there's commentators doing a fantastic job. Like, I love Taz as a commentator. I never realized how much I love Taz as a commentator until just recently. And then I remember all the matches that he's called going back to like when I was in high school watching it right after he retired.
Mm-hmm.
So Taz is great. Excalibur does a fantastic job. I love Tony Schiavone. like I said, he's one of those guys I watched WCW wise. So,
Oh, you said Tony Schiavone?
yeah.
One of the greatest of all time. It's Sting!
He is one of the
That
greatest
guy's
of all time.
legendary.
Yeah,
Yes.
he is legendary. He's fantastic. Another guy jumped out of wrestling, got out of wrestling for a while, was sick of it, and then got back in it, and he's in love with it again. So, he's fantastic. Everyone that's on TV now that is either ring announcing or doing commentary are absolutely killing it.
I think Samoa Joe did a pretty good ring announcer, or not ring announcer, but commentator.
Commentator.
He was, yes. Samoa
Yeah, he
Joe
was
was a
good.
great commentator, but
pretty
I'd
great.
much rather watch Samoa Joe beat people up as long as I can.
There you go.
Like when he wasn't being utilized as much in WWE, I was like, I know he still has it. Like he may be injured, he may be fighting concussions, but like I know he still has it.
Oh yeah,
So
without a doubt, he still got it. Big baby.
So we have one last surprise question for the night, and that is, what is your favorite WrestleMania moment?
Oh shit. My favorite WrestleMania moment, man, is that yes movement. Like when Daniel Bryan won that championship and like everybody just celebrated and it just seemed like the whole place like erupted. It was like one of those like bench clearing moments, like everybody loved it. Like it's like storm the field, your college team won. Like that would be sitting there on a couch in the middle of the mountains in a snowstorm with my buddy Matt, just drinking a lot of beer, having a great time. Just watching that pay-per-view would probably be one of my best moments. I also had a fantastic WrestleMania at the time. Watching WrestleMania 21 when I was in college with all the rugby team at CSU. I mean, we had a blast. We had a really good party for that show. So those moments, it's more like where I am and what I'm doing. It kind of makes me feel like the moment's larger,
Right.
Like when Daniel Bryan and Adam Cole like premiered, I was sitting in my basement with my fiance, but like it was like one of the like greatest wrestling moments of my life.
Yeah.
Because like I was able to share it with her. So those are the moments I like. Like for moments, I'd say that one. And then I really enjoyed WrestleMania match wise. I would say like one of my favorites is the end of the era match would have to be one of my absolute favorites. Like you're saying, that Shawn Michaels and Undertaker rivalry, it's just one of those crazy things. So all those matches were great building up. That's good rivalry as well. So
Okay.
I'll definitely say Austin Theory's, like when Austin Theory went to WrestleMania, I think that was one of my best. I'm not a big Austin Theory guy, but like the fact that he's this young and he could do it and make it on the
what am I saying?
And beat
I'm
John
sorry. Let me go back. My favorite WrestleMania moment of all time was Cody Rhodes debut 2 years ago. I've lost my mind. So I apologize.
Yep.
Fucking Cody
Apologize for cutting you off, but I had to get that in.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
You're
When that music hit, oh man, we erupted out of our seats. We were watching that pay-per-view like.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I jumped out of my couch. My fiance jumped out of her couch. We lost it. We were so happy.
But who has better moments, WrestleMania or Royal Rumble? Because Royal Rumble has a lot of like infamous, old school returns and shit that happens. And
It depends on how they plan it out. I mean, really,
it does.
I'm bringing.
It does depend on how they do it and everything, or like, I think that AEW has done a good job with like a lot of surprises lately. But I would say that like, to keep that stuff hush hush, it's hard work, man. So just get somebody out there, somebody like, Pat McAfee popping out at the beginning of the Royal Rumble this year. Like it was a moment for like Michael Cole. He had no clue that he was going to be there.
Oh, yeah, it was great.
Those are like those little pops, And I remember a few years ago, I was sitting in the mountains watching a Royal Rumble, and it was the one where Diamond Dallas Page came out, and they just had like everybody in it, and it was Bully Ray, and it was all these. I was like, okay, I like this Rumble. That's a good one.
Mhm.
Like I love a Royal Rumble, but
Yeah, one of my favorite.
know, that's a hard
Rumble
question.
moments. Oh, sorry.
I said that what he just put up. Like I don't know what would have a better moment. Like there's so many pops coming off of the Royal Rumble, and then WrestleMania is just this giant show. So
I can't wait to see
they're
like
equal.
a Rumble at like HAW. I hope they have a Rumble sometime soon. I think
Yeah.
that would be pretty entertaining. I don't know if I want to be in
Never
the
know.
front seat for that one, but I think it'd be pretty entertaining.
Yeah, you never know. There's
My
always
favorite Royal
January.
Rumble. Sorry, we just keep going and talking at the same time.
You said something about January?
I said, I don't know. January's always Rumble season somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Oh, I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, my favorite Royal Rumble moment was a few years back when Edge came back after 10 years, made his return at the Rumble, and just the crowd just went wild for that when he popped out and his music hit. That was just a jaw-dropping moment. Nobody was real. I mean, we knew it, but it was still a very, very big surprise for us. So.
My favorite Royal Rumble moment is when Edge returned after his hiatus and that music hit, man. I remember me and Billy was sitting in the front room and we was off that couch so high. Oh my God. Go ahead, Troy. I didn't mean to cut you off, brother.
I was gonna say, like,
yes,
we can't forget about, the Royal Rumble where they added Mickey James from AEW on there.
TNA.
Or TNA.
Yeah, when she came out with the TNA championship.
Like, that was crazy. That was crazy to see WWE do something like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, now that they got this new takeover, who knows what could happen.
Yep.
We might see an actual clash of the brands finally that everybody's been wanting to see for years and years. Like, there might be some type of pay-per-view dedicated to just that once a year.
Yeah,
which I think would be great, especially if they added like the War Games theme to it. Like that would be fucking fantastic.
Yep. Now TKO and Endeavor and everything's involved. I mean, they can open that forbidden door and say, "Hey, let's do it."
Yeah, they can now. They definitely can now. That's what everybody's been wanting, and like the ticket sales and butts and seats, outrageous.
Yep.
You can double up or triple up on every ticket in the building and still sell out.
Yep.
So I hope great bigger things in here in the future.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else that anybody would like to cover specifically?
I'm gonna leave some things that I want to ask and say for the 28th. I can't put out too much. But definitely expect us to see us there with some questions and some interview time. And we definitely will be live on Facebook and probably some other platforms.
Right here.
Probably.
Yep.
So it'll probably be on Facebook, Instagram, all that, all at once. So yeah, I don't want to put out too many of my questions that I have because I definitely have some more secreted things that I want to put out there. But I'm gonna wait till like the 28th to drop the ball.
Yeah. Definitely. Looking forward to it. Yeah,
go ahead, Trae.
Yeah, like I said, speaking on that real quick, let me just get that in. 28th, we will be HAW will be live for Never Surrender. This card is going to be absolutely insane. We got about, I believe, 7 matches right now. Don't quote me on that. All under stipulation.
Yep.
They're going to be intense. It's going to be a great time. It is Never Surrender, Honor Among Wrestling, and that is coming live from Martin Luther King Center in Rock Island, Illinois on October 28th.
And if you've never heard of Mateo Valentine, trust me, this is a show you don't want to miss because the match.
I'm an AMB fan, baby.
Man.
And if you like that high flying, don't forget AMB.
That's right.
AMB. Jason McGregor is gonna really have a couple lessons to teach old AMB, I think. But I think AMB is more than willing to learn those. So we've got a great champion right now in AMB coming on and taking that mantle from Conan. So his match could be fantastic. Like I said earlier, that main event between that main event between Xavier Sky and Gunner is going to be an absolute one that no one is going to want to miss.
Yeah.
Like you said, Mateo Valentine, he's going to show the world what he can do. So please come check us out, support us, support our local wrestlers.
For sure, we will be.
Yep. You can catch it all live with Wrestling with Bros on the 28th.
Yep.
So we got honorable mentions for the night now?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Honorable mention goes out to Trae Parker. We appreciate you, man. Like I said earlier, appreciate that shout out at that event for us. It's really kind of boosted us and gotten people to notice who we are. And we just appreciate you coming on here and making that announcement to start the show for us. We really enjoyed that. Big Baby?
My honorable mentions going to Trae at HAW. You've been so generous and so kind to us with the shout outs, and we've been feeding each other back and forth. It's been a really great experience, man. And it was really great to meet you tonight, and I can't wait to meet you the 28th. It's been an honor.
All right, yeah.
I say my honor mention goes out to HAW and Trae Parker as well. I mean, if you don't know this man, he's a smooth guy in and out the ring. I've seen his work, and it's nothing short of professional. So, honorable mentions go out to you guys. Thank you guys for giving us the time. And we love to shout out HAW and you guys at any point, anytime, any day. So
I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Space. Absolutely.
My honorable mention goes out to Wrestling with Bros podcast and all three of you for having me on. This is my first podcast experience. Like I said, this past 6 months of me being involved in wrestling, my first show was the day after my 37th birthday, man. I could not have expected it to be the way that it's gone. And I thank all the wrestlers that we've had on all of our shows for making me feel just as like one of them. They never make me feel like I'm just an outsider or anything, So big shout out to them. And to you guys always being really kind to us. You guys got A and B out there and Mateo and Danny, and we really appreciate that, and we'll just keep this partnership going. I mean,
for sure,
beneficial for both of us, and I think that it's a great partnership. You guys are doing a fantastic job. If you guys out there in the YouTube world, check out their old videos. They've got some fantastic interviews with wrestlers from all over. Hopefully, you guys can get your ball rolling a little bit more and get some more interviews with some more people, get some more independent wrestlers, some names, because independent wrestling needs to survive. All right, we need to thrive.
Facts.
Yes, that is a fact.
Support all independent wrestling. If you're out in some small town somewhere, find somewhere, check it out.
Well, yeah. We'll always be willing to take on any interviewers of all kinds, fans of just wrestling, wrestlers, announcers, refs, owners, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Wrestling, you want to talk wrestling? Come on over.
Right here.
We got you.
Yep.
Awesome.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Well,
awesome.
This is Big Baby Ben.
Judas Black.
Troy Black, baby.
And Trae, why don't you close us out for the night, man?
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been listening to Wrestling with Bros with your three fantastic hosts and myself, Trae Bay. Come check out Honor Among Wrestling and support local wrestling podcasts.
It's been another amazing episode of Wrestling with the Bros.